Prepare yourself for what I am about to reveal, but it is essential to remain quiet and attentive to the unfolding events ahead. You are witnessing a presentation tailored specifically for the enlightened ones. Should you not be among the selected, it is probable that you will not see this video through to its conclusion. Do not hesitate to disengage, as the essence may not align with your inner being or higher self. Yet if you are indeed among the select few, you will grasp the entirety of what I am about to convey. In Matthew chapter 22, a profound distinction is made between those who respond to the divine call and those who are divinely appointed for a singular mission. Grasping the significance of being selected by the Almighty can deeply influence our view of existence and our connection with the divine. Being selected by the Almighty embodies profound spiritual significance and a deep sense of duty. To explore the profound difference between being summoned and being selected, let us reflect on the lives of two significant biblical figures, Jeremiah and Timothy. Jeremiah was selected by the Almighty even prior to his arrival in this world. The Almighty revealed to him, signifying that Jeremiah was chosen to fulfill a sacred role with the distinct celestial mission ordained for him from the outset. In a different light, Timothy was bestowed with his spiritual gift later in his journey, when Paul imparted his blessings upon him. This example demonstrates that although a calling may arise at any moment in life, being selected is an act of divine intention. The notion of receiving a call from the Almighty is a sacred invitation offered to countless souls. It is akin to a gateway that invites one to embrace his wisdom, pursue his realm, and embody a life in harmony with his purpose. Yet, being selected by the Almighty signifies a distinct calling for a remarkable mission. This choice is rooted not in human achievement, but in the supreme purpose and celestial design of the Almighty. The selected are imbued with the strength and purpose to fulfill specific duties or callings that have been divinely appointed to them. Greetings and blessings to you in this sacred space of enlightenment. If you have yet to join us, we invite you to subscribe. Show your support by liking the video and activate notifications to remain connected with the sacred teachings. Throughout the sacred texts, we encounter many instances of individuals selected by the Almighty for divine missions, frequently arising from seemingly modest or unassuming origins. For example, Amos was an ordinary farmer of sycamore trees until he received a divine calling to serve as a prophet. In a parallel manner, Elisha was tending to the fields when he was called to follow in the footsteps of Elijah, a figure revered among the prophets of Israel's storied past. These narratives illuminate that the selection made by the Almighty transcends social standing, occupation, or heritage. Reflect upon the tale of David, a humble shepherd lad, selected by the Almighty to ascend as the ruler of Israel. In the face of his youth and lack of experience, the divine recognized the purity of his heart and the promise within him. The anointing of David by the prophet Samuel served as a profound testament to the sacred choice made by the Almighty. 1 Samuel 16:12-13. David's path from humble shepherd to revered king was fraught with trials, yet his unwavering faith and deep trust in the Almighty guided him toward the fulfillment of his divine purpose. Foreordained destiny and sacred intent. The notion of foreordained destiny is essential in grasping the significance of being selected by the Almighty. Predestination suggests that the divine design for a person is established prior to their arrival in this world. Ephesians 1:4 proclaims that he selected us in him prior to the foundation of the world, destined to be holy and without fault in his presence. This passage highlights that the selection made by the Almighty is grounded in his infinite wisdom and divine intention, unaffected by human deeds or choices. The Israelites stand as a profound illustration of divine destiny. They were selected by the Almighty to be his cherished ones, not due to their own virtue or might, but rather in fulfillment of the sacred covenant made with their ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This sacred choice was apparent long before the Israelites emerged as a nation. In the face of persistent rebellion and failures, the Almighty upheld his promises, showcasing the unwavering essence of celestial purpose. To exist as one selected by the Almighty is to wholeheartedly accept a journey filled with meaning and unwavering commitment to his divine plan. This vocation frequently carries profound duties and trials. Being selected by the Almighty does not assure a life free from challenges. Instead, it encompasses a pilgrimage of belief, steadfastness, and at times tribulation. Joseph's existence embodies this profound reality. In his youth, visions stirred within him, foreshadowing the remarkable destiny that awaited him. Yet, his journey toward realizing those aspirations was laden with challenges. He faced treachery from his kin, was cast into servitude, and wrongfully confined. In the face of adversity, Joseph upheld his unwavering devotion to the Almighty. His steadfast belief and moral fortitude ultimately propelled him to become a formidable leader in Egypt, where he was instrumental in rescuing his family and the nation from the grips of famine. Joseph's journey reveals that being selected by a higher power frequently entails a process of growth through challenges and hardships. These experiences shape and fortify our essence, readying us for the realization of a higher purpose in our existence. Those selected by the higher power frequently encounter profound spiritual struggles and resistance. The adversary aims to obstruct the sacred designs and impede the appointed ones from realizing their heavenly mission. This sacred battle can reveal itself in many ways, such as enticement, trials, and inner conflicts. The figure of Jesus encountered profound resistance during his sacred mission, from his trial in the desolate expanse by the adversary to the disdain and opposition from the guardians of faith. He faced a multitude of trials. The pinnacle of defiance was his crucifixion, devised by those who perceived him as a danger. Through his death and resurrection, a profound purpose was realized, embodying the ultimate design for the redemption of humanity. In a parallel manner, the Apostle Paul encountered formidable resistance throughout his sacred mission. He faced confinement, physical suffering, and countless trials in devotion to the message of salvation, as noted in 2 Corinthians chapter 11. Yet Paul stood unwavering in his purpose, recognizing that his trials were integral to the sacred conflict against the shadows of malevolence. Deceptions and challenges are unavoidable for the anointed ones. These trials challenge our belief and strength, yet they also enhance our dependence on the Almighty. The treachery of Jesus by Judas Iscariot stands as a deeply moving illustration. Judas, a chosen follower of the sacred path, turned against his master for a mere 30 pieces of silver, setting in motion the events that would lead to the ultimate sacrifice and the profound trial of faith. This act of treachery was woven into the divine tapestry for the salvation of mankind. In moments of betrayal and hardship, we can find solace in the understanding that a higher power reigns supreme, capable of transforming our deepest sorrows into a greater plan. The tale of Job reveals this profound reality. a virtuous soul, Job faced profound trials, experiencing the loss of his beloved children, his riches, and his very health. In the midst of his suffering, Job held steadfast to his devotion to the Almighty. Ultimately, the Almighty renewed Job's blessings and bestowed upon him great abundance. The selection of certain individuals by the Almighty frequently creates waves, influencing the lives of those who come after them. The sacred gifts and duties bestowed upon those selected by the Almighty transcend our earthly existence, impacting our heirs and molding their futures. Reflect upon Abraham, selected by the Almighty to be the progenitor of numerous nations. The sacred promise made to Abraham assured that his lineage would be countless like the stars, and through his progeny, every nation would receive blessings. This vow was realized through the heritage of Isaac, Jacob, and ultimately Jesus Christ. Abraham's unwavering faith and steadfast obedience resonated through the ages, bringing to fruition the divine plan for the salvation of humankind. In a manner akin to the enduring influence of great leaders, the legacy of King David transcended the boundaries of his time on the throne. The Almighty assured David that his reign would endure eternally, a covenant that finds its ultimate realization in Jesus, the Anointed One, who is known as the descendant of David. David's unwavering faith, exemplary leadership, and profound devotion to the Almighty left an indelible mark on Israel and beyond. Prayer is a vital element in the journey of those selected by the Almighty. Through the sacred act of prayer, we nurture our bond with the Almighty, seek His wisdom, and draw upon His boundless strength. The revered figure, a paragon of the anointed, devoted considerable time to prayer, particularly during pivotal moments of His mission. Prior to selecting His 12 followers, Jesus devoted the entire night to communion in prayer. This underscores the significance of pursuing divine insight and guidance in our choices. In the sacred garden, the figure of Jesus knelt in deep supplication, pouring out his heart in a moment of profound sorrow, yearning for divine guidance as he approached the shadow of his sacrifice. In moments of devotion, Jesus discovered the fortitude to yield to the divine purpose and accomplish his sacred calling. For us, prayer serves as a profound instrument to guide us through the trials and duties of our divine selection. It empowers us to harmonize our hearts with His purpose, tap into His strength, and embrace His wisdom. The Apostle Paul encourages us to engage in unending prayer, highlighting the significance of constant dialogue with the divine, sacred sanctuaries and conflicting energies. In sacred texts, altars frequently represent sanctuaries for devotion and profound connections with the divine. They embody instances of sacred dedication, selflessness, and celestial influence. For the divinely selected, sacred altars hold great importance in triumphing over adversities and building a robust foundation of belief. Gideon's tale exemplifies the significance of facing and transcending spiritual obstacles. Prior to guiding Israel to triumph over the Midianites, Gideon received divine instruction to dismantle the altar of Baal and erect an altar dedicated to the Lord. Judges 6:25-27. This act of devotion exemplified Gideon's unwavering allegiance to the Almighty and his renunciation of deceptive idols. It also laid the foundation for divine empowerment and triumph in the ensuing conflict. In a similar manner, we are called to face and eliminate any spiritual obstacles or adverse forces that may linger in our existence. This entails forsaking wrongful actions, liberating ourselves from harmful habits, and committing our lives to the divine through the creation of sacred spaces marked by devotion, reverence, and adherence, we beckon the essence and strength of the divine into our existence. The sacred blessing, being selected by the Almighty, brings forth a sacred blessing, an extraordinary empowerment bestowed upon you. This sacred empowerment is not for individual benefit, but for the realization of divine intentions and the service of others. It is a sacred empowerment that prepares us to fulfill the duties and purposes entrusted to us by the Almighty. Elisha's ministry stands as a profound testament to the divine empowerment at work. When Elijah ascended to the heavens, Elisha was bestowed with a double portion of his spirit, representing the sacred empowerment to carry forth and amplify the prophetic mission of Elijah. As detailed in 2 Kings chapter 2, Elisha accomplished many wondrous acts, such as restoring health to the afflicted, bringing the deceased back to life, and offering sustenance to the destitute. His anointing stood as a profound sign of the divine force, manifesting through him for the upliftment of others. The sacred blessing transcends the confines of ancient scripture. In this moment, the divine bestows blessings upon chosen souls for sacred missions. This sacred empowerment allows us to engage in divine gifts, realize our destinies, and transform the lives of those in our presence. It is vital to pursue and nurture this sacred blessing through an intimate connection with the Almighty, steadfast obedience, and a spirit of selfless service. Embracing a life of intention. To exist as one of the selected requires a deep comprehension and acceptance of the divine intention for our existence. This calls for a spirit of humility, a reliance on the Almighty, and an openness to yield our aspirations to His divine purpose. The noble King David, in all his grandeur, embodied this spirit. He earnestly sought the wisdom of the Almighty in his choices, humbly recognized his transgressions, and placed his trust in divine grace and mercy. David's psalms illuminate his profound bond with the Almighty and his yearning to align his life with the divine purpose. Psalm chapter 23 is a profound testament to David's unwavering faith in the divine direction and sustenance bestowed upon him. The Almighty guides me. I shall lack nothing. He guides me to rest in lush meadows. He guides me to tranquil streams. He rejuvenates my spirit. Psalm 23. David's existence was deeply intertwined with the divine, anchored in his devotion and unwavering dedication to the sacred path. For us, embracing a life of intention involves pursuing the divine guidance in every facet of our existence. It entails harmonizing our aspirations, choices, and endeavors with His divine intentions. It signifies the act of utilizing our gifts, resources, and chances to uplift others and honor the divine. When we embrace our purpose, we discover true fulfillment and revel in the joy of being integral to a magnificent divine plan, unity, and guidance. The path of being selected by the Almighty is not intended to be traversed in solitude. We belong to a grand fellowship of faithful souls who provide support, upliftment, and steadfast accountability. In the sacred wisdom of Proverbs 27:17, it is revealed that just as iron refines iron, so too does one individual refine another. Being part of a nurturing community empowers us to remain steadfast and aligned with the divine purpose. The nascent congregation exemplifies a profound sense of unity and mutual aid. Devout souls convened frequently for sacred communion, reverent adoration, and harmonious connection. They united their gifts, uplifted each other, and collaborated to disseminate the sacred message. This profound bond among them fortified their beliefs and empowered them to confront adversity and trials with unwavering strength. As we traverse our sacred path, it is essential to seek the companionship of fellow seekers who can uplift us in prayer, share their insights, and help us remain steadfast. Cultivating connections within our community and participating in intimate gatherings or service groups can bestow upon us the encouragement and fortitude necessary to realize our higher calling. Conclusion: grasping the distinction between being summoned and being selected illuminates the distinct purpose that the divine has crafted for our existence. Being selected frequently entails confronting obstacles, yet these serve as pathways for development and the realization of a higher purpose. By embracing prayer, nurturing faith, and drawing strength from our community, we can fulfill our sacred calling and leave an enduring mark on the world. The selection and intention bestowed upon us by the Almighty are profound and transformative. Answering this sacred duty requires a spirit of humility, unwavering determination, and a profound bond with the divine. As we traverse the path of being selected, let us keep in mind that each challenge is a progression towards realizing our sacred purpose. Let us pursue the wisdom of the Almighty, wholeheartedly accept our calling, and inspire those who will come after us for the sake of His honor. Let us unite in prayer, O Divine Creator. We approach you with souls overflowing with thankfulness and deep respect. We recognize your supreme authority and the sacred mission you hold for every one of us. We are grateful for your call and honored to be included in your magnificent vision. We earnestly request your wisdom and fortitude as we strive to realize the distinct purposes you have ordained for us. We acknowledge, O Divine One, that to be selected by you entails profound duties and trials. As you selected Jeremiah, David, and countless others, guide us to accept our purpose with unwavering faith and commitment. Bestow upon us the strength to confront the challenges and adversities that arise, understanding that they are integral to your transformative journey. We seek your blessing to be upon us, empowering us to serve others and fulfill the duties you have entrusted to us. Envelop us in your sacred essence, that we may manifest the blessings you have bestowed upon us and yield abundant harvests for your realm. Guide us to embrace humility, continually striving to honor your name above all else, rather than pursuing our own interests. O Divine One, we beseech for unwavering strength amidst the trials of spiritual conflict and adversity. Fortify our belief, as you did for Joseph, Job, and Jesus. Guide us to remember your presence in every struggle, assuring us that your intentions for us are benevolent, even amidst challenges and betrayals. May we discover solace and fortitude in your presence, trusting that you orchestrate all things for our benefit. Guide us in facing and transcending any spiritual obstacles or adverse forces that may affect our existence. Just as Gideon dismantled the altar of Baal, grant us the strength to eliminate all that obstructs our connection with you. Let us create sacred spaces of devotion, reverence, and fidelity, welcoming your strength and essence into our existence. We beseech for illumination and direction, O Divine One. Unveil to us the sacred duties and journeys you have destined for us. Illuminate our path and choices, harmonizing them with your purpose. Let us embrace each day with purpose, utilizing our gifts, resources, and chances to uplift others and honor your name. We seek the fortitude and encouragement of a fellowship of faithful souls. Envelop us with companions in faith who can uplift, intercede, and guide us in our journey. As the early community discovered power in unity, Guide us to cultivate profound connections that elevate and refine us on our sacred path. We express our deep gratitude for the profound legacy of being selected by your divine will. Let our unwavering devotion and commitment create a heritage of grace for those who come after us, mirroring the profound influence of the faithfulness displayed by Abraham and David on innumerable souls. Guide us to tread upon your path, inspiring our families and communities to reflect your magnificence. Gratitude flows for the eternal love and steadfast devotion bestowed upon us. We yield our aspirations and intentions to you, placing our faith in your flawless insight and timing. Guide us as instruments of your will, and let our existence embody your grace and truth. In the sacred name, we offer our prayers. So be it.